I know there's a lot of narrative today about women being masculine, but it would surprise people to learn how many women are actually feminine that they're calling masculine, but they're embodying the wounded feminine energy, right? Manipulation, not being able to assert themselves. So they stay quiet when they're upset and then they suppress that emotion. It starts to build up. And then one day they just explode. And now this person's like, wow, you just exploded. You're really a masculine woman. It's like, actually, no, she is a feminine woman. She's very sensitive to negative emotion, but she's embodying the wounded feminine energy. So there's those two aspects to it.
Ambitious women tend to come from a place of that wounded masculine, right?
Yeah.
And I know that there's a difference between wounded feminine and wounded masculine too.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about the wounded masculine. Is that typically, because just specifically with ambition, is that
Hmm.
typically something society telling us to be boss babes, or is that something that can come from your parents and how they tell you you should show up in the world? Like what typically happens around that wounded masculine?
Oh, that's such a great question. I think it comes from multiple areas. So first and foremost, probably the earliest place we'll experience it is with our family and, like even our social circle. So, this for me personally, when I was growing up, a lot of value from like my traditional Nigerian parents, who I love, but they're very like doctor, lawyer, accountant failure, a lot of my value was placed in my grades. And I was taught to believe that, the goal, it's funny now, the goal for me is to get a good job. And then, if I get a good job and I have a good salary, no man would be able to resist me. And I don't know, but and so a lot of people hear those sorts of narratives. But then you also have like society, social media, TikTok. How many times do we log in on TikTok and it's like, I worked for 8 hours. Oh no, 8 hours is reasonable, but like I work for 12 hours a day and every single moment I have, I'm maximizing it so I can be as productive as possible. So what
Yeah.
happens as a consequence if you fall into that mindset? It's the masculine mindset of go, go, go. You don't make time for self-care. You don't make
Mhm.
time for yourself. You don't make time for the relationships in your life. You don't spend time with your family. You don't prioritize having or even finding a partner to build something with. And so you reap the rewards of that wounded side, which can be a lot of money, but you can't hug your money at night. Your money can't comfort you. You can't go to bed with that. And so, yeah, it's society, it's our family, it's social media. We have to be conscious and like thinking, okay, well, what is this mindset I'm being taught? And does it actually serve me? And also looking at the people who are teaching me these things, would I swap places with them? It's like
Mhm.
taking business advice from someone who's never had a successful business, right? For sure, they could probably tell you how not to build a business, but I doubt they could give you as good advice on how to build a business like someone who actually has built a business. So if you want to embrace your feminine nature, instead of listening to masculine people and how to do that, men and women included, you should listen to people who actually have a lot of feminine energy. That's why men listen to men and often women will listen to women.
Mhm. I'm a recovering masculine energy woman,
You
I
are?
swear. Because yeah, when I was just fully ambition driven, I would be listening to those raw podcasts that are like, you wake up, you grind, you gotta succeed. And it would always be men, right? Those like entrepreneurial journey stories that just have that music that's supposed to get your blood pumping. I used to listen to that because I had to produce, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think in my journey of becoming more feminine and even becoming aware of this feminine energy thing, I wouldn't, you know, it was really a result of COVID because it forced me to stop working and it forced me to get to know myself. And at that time, I had no idea what my interests were. I had no
Mm.
idea what I like to do for fun because all I had done was work. So then when I was forced to stop, I was forced to do something else with my time. And then I realized that this actually, then I was cooking for my son. I was like, this feels better. So I was kind of, it wasn't this journey of I feel like something's missing. I was more thrust into having to explore
Mm.
that other side of me, right?
Yeah.
But what about the women who, how do you get a woman to understand and recognize when she's not in her feminine energy. Because I think some people, when we try to bring this to their attention, they're just kind of like, I don't need that. That's
Mm.
like they wouldn't even know that they're not attached to it. Right. So
Yeah.
how do you get people to pay attention or to recognize it or see it or feel it?
I I've encountered this struggle as well.